Right, I know it's a gungy mess. This is a switch I'm using. I did have it wired up to 24 volts, and to the LEDs I'm using is 24 volt strip lights, like a strip light. I don't know. I'll show you these. All the lights are off. So going along here, 2 rows of like LEDs. Quite nice light these. So that's what I had wired up. But now this used to light up this switch. I'll show you the other side. These 2 wires basically get shorted out by the switch, and the signal, it comes from the ground to there's 2 relays in here, Arduino, 2 of them, and it switches one of them basically. And this works like a 2-way switch, having the 2 switches like upstairs and downstairs, the 2 relays on it basically. So one's under control of Octoprint and one's under control of this switch. There's a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, the wires change colours, but it's the wires I had handy. The plugs going in, well, connections up there. I'll try and show you the circuit. But let's see the light in action. Right, I'm going to turn the switch now, and basically it's more of a toggle switch. Certainly this one, it just depends whether you've got Octoprint. If Octoprint is on, this will turn it off and on. Same as upstairs, downstairs. If you notice, if you're going upstairs, downstairs, sometimes the switches will be like up both ways, sometimes it will be down both ways, upstairs and downstairs, but the light will still be off. Okay, so I can turn the light on, which is what I wanted to be able to do manually here. I'm just clicking this switch. You might hear the relay. You might just make it out amongst the fan noise. Right, I'll show you Octoprint working just now. There's Octolight, really it is. These my sketches of wiring. I'll show you that later. Let's get Octolight working. So I've got on my mobile phone here, and you might notice that little light bulb symbol up at the top there. Now, as I say, even though it might be lit, well, it does show that's lit, but it might be actually turning it off. This is one of the side effects of using this. Now, how can I do this and show you? I know. I'll put this up here, and then I'll try clicking this button. See, the light comes on. There we go. Took a bit of doing, it's the angle I'm at here. But then I can turn the light on manually, switching the switch. So it's on, in a way it's on the switch at the other side. And then if I can get this button, there we go. I managed to do it twice there. Keep doing it twice. Yeah, that's it. See, that's off. Turn it on the manual. Turn it off here. Turn it on the manual. Turn it off here. I'll turn it on here on Octo. So this is Octolight. I'll put some details. It's wired up to pin 7, and I've got the inversion on that setting, okay, to invert the signal. Okay, so that's exactly what I wanted, because sometimes I don't want to have to like log online to turn this light on. I just want a quick look at the print and then turn it on. So I'll take the cover off this. I'll show you inside this box just now. Let's see this switch first. This is all upside down. So here's the switch. As I say, this used to light up this switch. You won't see it, I don't think. But I can just turn some of these other lights off. If I turn the other lights off, you might. Yeah, see, so that can turn that LED on. Be careful here because there are mains. See these two contacts here, then the mains coming in, and sometimes you can get a bit of metal exposed there. So be very careful going in here. Just because you've got power supply knocking down the voltage does not mean there's no mains. So let's get this relay box open. Where am I? There we are. Have I got this light on? No, I haven't. So there's two relays. I'll put sticker on to remind me. Like they call it channel 1 and channel 2. And these are wired. I'll show you the wiring. So from this Raspberry Pi, they're going into this to control this. But basically, I've also got this physical switch here, wired up in here, and you need it to go to the ground. So it has to sync the current to the ground, okay, on this switch. I'll show you the wiring. Yep, that's good. Now I'll show you, I'll turn this off now. Hang on, let's get, yeah, that light is off at the moment. I will show you. See how it comes on there a bit. The light did flash on there, I think. So that's, I don't know if you call that a drawback of doing this way. Oh, I'm not sure if it remembers the state it was in, to be honest. Give that a second or two and then boot up. Now we'll have to remember that the Raspberry Pi takes, you know, I'll give it 30 seconds, well more than that, to boot up. Not exactly quick. Just shift my other glasses off there. Okay, so I'll get these covers, get this all back together, get this turned over, etc, etc. Be careful when you're turning this over. What I've found is sometimes it will pull on this stepper wire out of here. Well, this is on mine anyway, and then I go to use it and then it knocks the level out because only one stepper of the Z carriage, this one is working and this one isn't because it's pulled the wires off when I've turned it over. Then I have to re-level it. So yep, control that. It does have an LED in here to indicate sort of when it's getting switched. Okay, not that you can really see that in this box. Right, I've almost put it together now, so the lights are on at the moment. See how dark it goes. Turn it on. This switch down here now will, can I get both of those in? Yeah, possibly. The switch down here now will toggle that, so this will toggle it. If I can sliding all over here. Just a second. On. So that is, see how that's lit, but if I turn this switch now, that will turn that off, but this is shown lit here. See how dark it's gone. And when I press that to turn it off, it turns it on, because it's like a toggle action in a way. I'll show you a couple more times. That's off. Turn it on in Octoprint. So this is Octolight. Off on that switch. On there. Sometimes I think it's my phone here. Off and on. So it doesn't matter what that is. and turn it on and off here, which is exactly what I wanted. I can come in, have it off on Octolight, turn it on and off here as well. So I can come in, it's night time, turn it on, have a quick look without having to boot in to Octoprint and then muck about with Octolight. So yeah, that's working okay. I did try MOSFETs, by the way, but I think with MOSFETs some of the current was feeding back into the MOSFETs and causing them to trip wrongly. Don't ask me about that, I don't know, I aren't an electronic expert. So that's why I'm using two physical relays in here. As I say, it's the same as a two-way switch upstairs and downstairs. That's a basic circuit, but I'll show you that. The Raspberry Pi does need to be on, well, at least a bit to get the lights to turn on and off here. And see how it flashes on there when I go to turn the power off. So say we've got 24 volts going in here, it's just going up to the common there, and then this is going down to, let's call it negative down here. Okay, and we have the LED like lighting strip here represented by this LED diode I've got, well, drawn down here. So these are the two relays, say channel 2, channel 1 here. Okay, now so let's follow this round, they're both switched that way, and the current, well, I'm not going to say, you know, electrons or whatever, yeah, let's say it's positive current comes from there, down here, down through this one, down through the LED, and down to negative. Okay. Can get all that in. This is some that's going to negative, right? Then we say we turn both relays on, both together. So now the current's going to come along here, along this wire, down here, along here, through this sort of switching arm, and again through the LED diode and down to where? Down to ground, I should say. But what if we have the switches almost opposite to each other now? So now the current's going to try to go, well, let's say it does try, might as well. So let's assume that, let's follow it round, go down here, down this line, wire, here, and then it's got nowhere to go. So it's not going to create a circuit, and the LED will be turned off. That's when they're opposite to each other. If we switch them the other way, where they're still opposite to each other, so this one's down, that one's up, current comes along here, along here, along here, along here, and there's no contact here, so it's got nowhere to go. And basically all that is most of that's, well, here we're on the actual Raspberry Pi. So this line here represents the edge of the Raspberry Pi. Okay, here is the relay box up here, and we've got channel 1, channel 2. So we've got ground and 5 volts, ground and 5 volts from the Raspberry Pi here, and then I'm using a purple wire. Doesn't matter really what colour you use. Channel 1 is going through this switch here, which is a mechanical switch, a physical switch, going down here and going to pin 9, which is ground on the Raspberry Pi. So if that's turned on, in a way it's going to sink the current down here, and that signals the relay channel 1 to turn on or off, whichever, depending which way you do that switch. So that is the physical switch. Now the Octolight goes to channel 2, which is here, pin 7. That's controlled via the Raspberry Pi, whereas this is controlled via a physical switch going to ground. This is controlled, pin 7 there, controlled to channel 2 via Octolight, which controls the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so that pin 7 is switching the relay to on or off, and the physical switch is switching channel 1 on or off. So that's a bit of an explanation of that. Now I did have a note for the colours. Those colours there, by the way, are just the colours of the wires I'm trying to use, but whatever colours suitable really. So look at this, is like a pin out of the Raspberry Pi, and quite often I find it convenient, I know, to turn it upside down. This is the way my board is. So I've got 5 volts here, which is this corner. Just a second, let me move over a bit. Just sort of this corner here. So there's your 5 volts. It's that one. Then I'm missing one. Then I'm using this ground pin there. Okay. It's a ground one there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 pins up. 1, 2, 3, 4. GPIO 4. Pin 7, I'm calling that. That's that one. That's for Octoprint to switch on and off. And then if we follow this grey purple wire, down here through the physical switch, it's the next one up, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th one up, the very next one up. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we see that is ground. So yep, that pin there, the physical switch, when it's turned on, is syncing to ground. Now make sure you get that going to ground. And I'll show you this just now. In Octolight we want to set it to pin 7, which I'm picked there, but we also want inverting turned on. Okay, I'll show you that. So there's pin 7, that's for Octolight in my case, and there's the ground, that's the physical switch that I'm using. Then we've got the positive and negative. Okay. So here I am in Octoprint, and see I can turn it on and off by clicking this sort of light bulb, remembering that this can be toggled almost the opposite way because of the switch. Let's have a look on the Octolight settings and see light pin 7 there and inverted output. So those are my settings as I showed you in the diagram there. Pin 7. Okay, so it on and off. And I can also use a physical switch if I need to. But remembering that that sort of opposites that light bulb. So don't go by the colour of the light bulb always. Well, that icon of a light bulb there. Basically that's it. Yep, I'm happy with that. So now I can come in, I can turn the light on and off even without loading up the computer, without turning on my phone, getting into Octolight or whatever you. So let's show you that again to make sure. So there's Octolight, see there it is in the plugins, pin 7 and inverted output. You can change that pin number if you wish.